Just seeing where I should put my light. And you guys. I want you to be able to see what I'm doing. Just kind of moving things about. So I've got my Christopher here that I have painted. So you can see he's got like a newborn skin tone. And I am going to be following Christine Woolley's 3D hair painting tutorial. So obviously I went to her class and I'm going to be putting it into practice here. So I've already mixed up my first colour. Do let me know if I need to like move the camera at all. It's just my phone and I like to be able to like see what's going on. Hi Lou. So yeah, I haven't started him yet, so I was thinking about rooting him, but I've got Blair that I'm rooting at the moment. It's going to take me forever otherwise to finish this guy. So I am doing, I'm going to do it the crown, I'm going to do it slightly off to the centre. So here we go. Hi. And I'm sorry that like the light is very bright on him. I have a daylight lamp which makes the colours so much better, which is really nice for me. But I know that it might be slightly difficult to see what I'm doing. At some point I might change the angle so you guys like just see the hair. But hi Laura. Yeah, you've never painted hair. Oh, hair painting is so much fun. Genuinely, like, just love painting hair. And it's so much faster than painting. Sorry, I'm just trying to follow this hair painting guide because I really like how she's done the hair. It's so much faster than rooting, which is why exactly I am painting the hair on this guy, because I've got Blair, who, in fact, I might show you Blair. So this is Blair that I've been working on, and you can see I'm rooting her, but it's in like a baby brown, like almost blonde hair color. This is taking forever. Oh, it's like quite similar to my hair color. This is taking so long. It's probably going to take me at least a week to finish her, if not more. So in the interest of having Christopher done sooner rather than later, I am going to be painting his hair. So if you've never painted hair, I really recommend Christine's tutorials. So she's got these books available. So that's what I'm following at the moment. So this is her hair painting book. Really recommend these, and she is going to have a tutorial series coming out with the Doll School. So that will be good as well to follow. I'm just making like light markings at the moment, so I've got an idea of what I want to do. Oh, I'm glad you like him. So he's gonna have quite dark hair. So as I said, I wanted to root him in like really dark brown hair, but I just don't have time, and I'm gonna be honest, I need to afford to pay my rent this month, so he needs to be done. Yeah, he needs to be done sooner rather than later. So he is not now being rooted, he is being painted, which will still take quite a long time. And if anyone is interested, this is a water brush, and basically what you do with one of these is you can cut down the bristles. You can see here I've made it into like a really fine point, and this like holds paint really well, and is like, it's cheaper than getting a regular, I'm trying to see if I've got one to hand, but you can get like lots of pointy brushes and they're often really quite expensive, like artist brushes, so this is the cheaper version. Where do you get the book? So if you look up Christine Woolley hair painting book, it is quite expensive, but honestly it's so worth it, because it literally shows you, like, I'll show you one page. It shows you like every single step, and like mapping and all of that. So yeah, really recommend that. And you can get it alongside all of the paints that like she works with. So yeah, it's just a brilliant thing. I'm not sponsored, by the way. Christine does not sponsor me. I just love her book. So yeah, really recommend that. And I know you can get it on Pixie Kissed Boutique, at least. And then depending on where you are around the world, there's other stockists of it. But yeah, so I'm just kind of following her map. Usually I don't really follow someone else's map, but when I was looking at this guy, I was looking up pictures of like very newborn hairstyles, and then I found one in Christine's book actually that was pretty much exactly what I wanted to emulate. So I thought, well, since I've got the book, I'll follow everything. Yeah, so the water brushes, they're quite cheap to buy, and you can get ones that Christine has already cut down for you. So I know she sells those as well. If you aren't confident in doing it yourself, you do need like a nail clipper basically to cut them down. Yeah, they're just good and inexpensive. And we like that here because everything costs too much money nowadays. Yeah, I can already see. I'm not going to be following exactly the mapping because I'm not very good at that, but I'm trying to like hold the head and then see the mapping that I want to achieve here. And so these are just, my light's probably too bright. I'm just doing like, oh, without the light it's even worse, like little strokes to kind of get a rough idea of the shapes that I want, and then I'll go in and like fill it in properly later on. And one of the issues that I had when I first started reborning is that with my painted hair, I always ended up giving them massive foreheads, which then I didn't really like the look of. So I am coming down so I don't have a massive forehead on this one. Where is this going? Yeah, these are quite light marks, so you won't really be able to see very much at this stage. I can hear my husband clearing his throat next door. Yeah, I hope you guys are having a good day. I need better lighting. It's very difficult trying to do like lighting that works for a live stream and also for painting. So this is like a daylight lamp that I've got over my head. It was expensive, but like so worth it, honestly. It was like £100, but which for me is expensive for a light. And I don't know, I think I'm the type of person that just I just don't like expensive things. I'm a complete cheapskate. We've literally just done, like, we've just come back from Lidl and I was buying all of the knockoffs because it's just cheaper to do. So yeah, things like making your own brushes I love doing. Having said that, I don't support knockoff Reborns, but like knockoff cheese puffs, I will take that. Yeah, so this is going to be me for the next few hours. I don't know how long I'll stream for. At some point, my voice will probably get quite tired, and that will probably stop me because whenever I'm on live stream I feel like I have to talk the whole time, because you guys deserve entertainment. So I will try and entertain. Is there a picture of the back of the head? So I'm just looking through the I want like a picture of that part of the head, and I don't have one at the moment. Saving the pennies insensible. Yes. Just everything's cost so expensive recently, and it's just a bit of a pain. And I am trying being the operative word, to do this full time. Like I want this to be my full-time income, and it would be lovely if I can achieve that. I have only been like trying to do that for the last couple of months, and again, one of the reasons why I'm painting this hair rather than rooting it is because in terms of like the amount of time that I spend on these dolls, the rooting takes so much more of my time, and I don't really get that time back like monetarily. Hence he is having painted hair, which will still take me quite a long time, but less time. So I think I've got like the rough kind of outline done, I think. So it's just like a couple of strokes really across the head, following Christine's methods, and then I'm just going to go fill it all in. You love dolls. I do love dolls. I realise you're probably speaking to each other actually and not me. I love dolls. I'm assuming that if you are on my page, you probably love dolls as well, because it's a doll safe space. And what was so lovely is that I went to the doll show yesterday in Basildon, and oh, it's just so lovely to have like a safe space where you can just love dolls, you can enjoy dolls. Like I see everyone with prams or like strollers and with their dolls and like carrying them around, and it's just like, yeah, here every single person here loves these dolls, and like I want to, you know, see your doll and show it to me and tell me about it and let me tell you about mine. And it's just such a nice environment to be in, where like we know we're not going to be judged, and we know that we can have these dolls out with us in peace. It's just a great time. If you've never been to a doll show and you love dolls, it's great. How long does it take to paint the hair? Probably about 8 hours, I would say. I know a lot of people are much faster than me. It depends how many layers I'm doing. If I'm making it like really dark, then it will take me longer because obviously I'm doing more layers. And with Christine's method, it's a slow method. You literally paint every single stroke of hair. So if I'm doing like thousands of, I literally am doing thousands of hair strokes, and I'm painting every single one by hand, and then I'm doing that multiple times because I'm going over and like adding layers to make it darker. Yeah, so it takes a long time, but I think the result is worth it because it's really beautiful. And with Christine's method that I'm using, you know, the reason for doing the layers is so that you have that depth kind of going all the way through. So the first few layers, like don't really look like much. It's only when you get to the final layers that it's like, oh, it brings everything together. You love dolls, always have. Is the book with mapping available on my website? No, not on my website, because I don't sell them. But if you look up Pixie Kissed Boutique, that is one of the UK stockists I know of the book. Or if you just like search for Christine Woolley hair painting like book or tutorial. In fact, I think I've done a video recently about hair painting, and I linked the book in various places in like the description. So if you go look at my channel and see, I did a blonde hair painting video, and so in the description of that one is links to the book. Again, not sponsored. I don't get anything from those links. It's literally just sharing the love with the community. I like to share the ways of doing things. So yes. So I'm literally doing, don't know if you'll be able to see that at all, but I'm literally doing like each individual brush stroke. So as I said, it doesn't really look like much at this point in time, but when I've done more layers, it will. And I'm not an expert at this yet. I would like my hair painting to be better, but each time I think it gets a little bit better. Hopefully it's going to look good. Yes. This is the only Christopher kit I have, so I'm really hoping it's going to look good, because I don't have a chance to redo it if it doesn't, basically. That's the thing with doll kits, because they are so expensive. I usually only buy one of each, like when they come out. I was very sensible, funnily enough, when I bought my pickle kits. For those of you that don't know, the pickle sculpt is like one of the most popular sculpts that's come out in recent years, and it's a sold out limited edition sculpt, and I bought 4 and I've painted 2 so far, but I've still got 2 left to paint. And it's got to the point that they're so popular now that the blank kit was selling yesterday. I saw at the doll show for £500, and that's just blank, like unpainted. So I'm kind of scared to paint it in case I mess it up. But yeah, I usually only buy one of each sculpt because they are so expensive. But at the same time, that means that like I only have one chance to paint some of these kits, particularly ones like I bought the Una sculpt the other day, and that's a brand new sculpt that's come out, and there's only 700 that have been made worldwide, and they sold out so fast in the pre-order, and I do regret only buying one, but it's like £125, and as I said, trying to do this as my full-time job, I don't have like £250 just to spend on stuff, with kind of willy-nilly. So I only bought one, and now I'm like, oh, should have bought more, but I didn't realize how popular it was going to be. But I did spend a lot of money at the doll show yesterday. If anyone hasn't seen my haul video, you will see all of the new kits that I've bought, most of which aren't like new kits that have come out recently, but they were a good price, so I bought them because as I said, trying to save money here. Oh, I'm glad you like my brushwork. Where do I get the dolls? God, that's, people ask that question and it's actually really hard to answer. So these are obviously handmade by artists. So you can buy the blank kits from like stockists, and you can buy fully made dolls from artists like myself. And I have a website which is just RebornsofJess.com. Imaginative, I know. My domain name is just the same as my username on everything. Yeah. And I don't just sell my own dolls on there, as in, I do sell my own dolls on there, but I also have links to other places where people can buy reborns from, because I don't always have dolls for sale, and I want everyone to be able to access legitimate and safe places where they're not going to get scammed, where they can buy dolls. Oh, so nice to see people. Yeah, I haven't done a live stream in so long. I always do them like really impromptu, like they're never planned. It's just I literally went to the gym and then came home and was like, I'm in a real painty mood. I want to paint, like, okay, let's paint hair. And then usually when I'm painting hair, I like put on a true crime video or something like that. And this time I was like, oh, what if I just did a little live stream, even though I've got no makeup on and have nothing like official planned, but let's just hop on and paint some hair again. So I don't know how much of that you can see. It's so light, like the first few layers are always really, really light. You can like barely see them, but that's the point, because you want it to be like a base layer. So the first couple of layers like take the longest as well, because you are painting each individual strand, whereas by the time you get to like the fourth layer, you're not painting each individual strand, you're painting like every other strand or every third strand, or like even just highlighting particular points. So it starts going a lot faster once you get there. But at present, this is going to be slow going. And I do want this baby to have quite dark hair, I think. And like, I want the appearance of thick hair, like I had. But at the same time, he needs to look fresh out of the womb. So I've given myself a task. Usually I don't really have plans when it comes to dolls. I just paint with my heart. I paint with my heart and they turn out how they turn out. This one, well, I didn't have a plan to start with, but I will tell you guys, I have been experimenting with pan pastels. So these are pan pastels, and they're literally a pan. I want to make sure I haven't like dropped anywhere. Pastels in a pan, and they're artist grade pastels, which is better to use than like eyeshadows. I know a lot of Reborn artists, myself included, have used eyeshadows, but I've been experimenting with those, and they are very difficult to work with. So I accidentally made this guy have too much yellow on his cheeks, so I ended up having to go for like a very newborn skin tone in order to kind of cover that up. So that's why we've got the skin tone that we have for this boy. It was not intentional, but now I'm gonna tell everyone it was intentional from the start. So yeah, this is your first time seeing me live. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like him. I'm really proud of the lips. Like the lips look really good on this baby. Am I enjoying my new space to create in? I am. I do miss my old space, just because it was really, really light. It was a larger room. Yeah, my old space was really nice, but I had to sacrifice that to live in the house that we are currently in, which just works better for us overall. So I don't mind that I'm in a smaller space at the moment, and maybe if I can earn enough money, I'll eventually get like a bigger space. I might like get one of those garden studios. I think that's what I'd really like. You know, they're like big sheds, and they like crane them into your garden, and it's like a pre-built ready-made studio. I would love something like that, where I also had dedicated filming space. That would be great. Just telling you my hopes and dreams here. Well, we'll see where we get to in life. You never know what's gonna come around the corner. And with the state of the world at the moment, honestly, I'm always like concerned that we're like not far away from, you know, nuclear war or something like that. So I kind of feel like I should enjoy every day at the moment. I just think, what if there is no tomorrow? Then I'll have been sad that I didn't enjoy today. I mean, you know, I wouldn't know about it because I wouldn't be alive, but it's my theory anyway, is just be happy today. It doesn't matter that I'm not, you know, earning huge amounts of money if I'm happy. As long as I'm happy, and my husband's happy, and my family are safe. We're very fortunate to be safe. So now you're just getting my stream of consciousness. Oh, Ambers, that's so kind of you. Thank you. I didn't know you can give money on a live stream. That's news to me. So thank you. That's so kind. Do I sell them? How much are they? Yes, I do sell them. So I sell them on my website, which is just rebornsofJess.com. And I don't have very many available at the moment. I've only got one like big reborn available, but each one is individually priced. So depending on the doll, if it's like a less expensive sculpt, it'll be less expensive overall. If it's a cuddle baby, it'll be less expensive. So that means it's just got like a vinyl head and a cloth body. One like this will be like middling because I've painted the hair, so it's less expensive than a rooted hair reborn. But this is like a sold out sculpt, so that'll mean it's slightly more expensive. So yeah, they cost anywhere. My cheapest ones tend to be around the 250 to 300 pound mark, and then my most expensive ones, which would be like a rooted hair toddler size baby, those are around £1,000, but they're so expensive because the hair takes me so long. I did one before Christmas, and the head, the rooting the hair took probably like 2 weeks of solid work. So that was a real pain. So I had to list that one quite expensively. So I'm hesitant to do a toddler again. Have I missed something? You said that's the darkest reason I've ever heard for having reborns. Have I missed a comment, or are you talking about me? I feel like I've missed a comment there. I made a video recently actually about why I have reborns, which was quite fun to do, just because people ask me all the time, oh, why do you have these dolls? And oh, you're talking about when I was saying like I just want to be happy. Oh, nuclear war, yeah. I just do things that make you happy, you know? You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. There might not be a tomorrow. What if there is, you know? Oh, this is why I shouldn't be left alone with my thoughts, honestly. But I'm just checking I'm following the book. Actually, I haven't looked at the book in a while. Need to make sure I'm following. the book when I'm looking at the front of the hairline actually. Should have been looking at the book for this part. Yeah, do what makes you happy, guys. You want a Reborn doll? Who's to say no? Okay, I've made some changes and now it looks more like the book. Okay. You guys are just distracting me. Do I have silicone ones that are like more floppy? Yes. I've got one silicone in my collection currently. She's called Emily. I actually took her to the doll show yesterday, but I never got her out of the car because she's really heavy. So silicone is like much heavier than vinyl. So she weighs like 10 pounds. She's really heavy baby. And yeah, I really like silicone. I don't paint silicone at the moment. Hopefully not too distant future, but yeah, at the moment I don't really paint I don't paint silicone at all. But they are so lovely to hold. They do feel just incredible. So if you've never felt like picked up a silicone, if you ever have the chance, I really would recommend it because they are really lovely to hold. And I have friends that like just collect silicone, and I completely understand why, because yeah, they're really nice. So I'm just concentrating on the top of the head, trying to match what the book has said. 10 pounds isn't heavy until you have to carry it around for a while. Yes. You don't think it's that much, and then you try and carry it for a bit and it's like, oh. So that's why I didn't take her into the show. I would have done, but I got stopped so much by people wanting to talk to me, which was lovely and was really nice, but it meant that I just was like standing a lot of the time, and I would not have been able to do that while holding a 10-pound silicone doll. I would have been like, oh my god, leave me alone so I can put this down. Yeah. Do I sell silicone ones? I don't sell silicone ones just because I don't make them. So I don't sell them. But maybe one day soon. I'm planning on doing a silicone course with Ella, Mac of Pixie Kiss Babies. She makes silicones, so I'm hoping to do her course at some point, which would be nice. And then I can make silicones. But I need more space to do that. That's the other thing. This studio that I'm in at the moment is just like a spare bedroom in my home. So there's not a lot of room. Not enough room to do silicone, really, at the moment. Just looking at this hairline, seeing am I happy with it. At this point I can kind of still change things if I'm not happy with something. I really like the hairline she did, and I'm not really sure I'm following it that well. So we will see. We will see how this turns out, hey? Might be a disaster. Does silicone require different materials, different paints? Yes, absolutely. It's an entirely different material and a different painting process. So it's like relearning to paint basically, because it's so incredibly different. And most people don't realize that it's not just yeah, using like the same paints or just using a different material. It's a completely different process as well. I've heard it's like trying to paint with honey, because when you paint a silicone, the paints that you use are actually silicone as well, so that it's like sticky. So yeah, I'm nervous about that also because that attracts loads of lint, and my studio has a lot of lint. I have issues with lint as it is on vinyl babies, let alone silicone. So yeah, that's I'm trying to just like join up a few of these hair strands, so that I've got a bit of, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, so that I've got almost a bit of a guide for when I'm doing those darker layers. Like I've already mapped out how I want the hair to join up. Yeah, takes a long time. I haven't even done half the head. Just want to let you know you're a huge inspiration to me. I started watching your videos about a year ago and have started your own painting journey. I love that. Honestly, like, it makes me so happy when I see people say that, like, you know, I have helped them start like painting and things, because this brings me so much joy. And if someone else can get even like a tenth of the joy that I get from painting these, oh, I just love that. It's so calming, so therapeutic, and it just makes me really happy. And I figure it can make other people happy too. Especially hair painting, anything to do with hair. Rooting is also quite therapeutic, although not rooting blonde hair like I'm doing at the moment, because that's just a pain, and is not easy at all. So you love my dolls. This isn't silicone, this is a vinyl head that I'm working on at the moment. I think because silicones often go viral, like a lot of viral videos of silicones are out there, and so a lot of scammers use them, and like fake websites and things, they take silicone videos, and so a lot of people kind of look at reborns and think that all reborns are silicone, or because they've seen those videos, and I completely understand why people would think that, but that is not the case. For the majority of reborn dolls are actually made out of vinyl, and they are not soft and squishy. They're quite hard, like this one. This one, can you hear that? It's a solid head. Not solid, it's hollow, but it's like hard. You bought your first reborn after getting into my channel. I love that. He still needs a name. Oh, I'm terrible with names. So I always keep my dolls, like my collection dolls, all have the sculpt names, because it means I don't have to come up with new names for them. So yeah, I'm not a good one with names. I mean, I've picked out the names of my future children, but apart from that, yeah, it is therapeutic. Yeah, so I used to work in HR, which was very stressful, especially when I had to start making people redundant and things like that. It gets very stressful, and I'm an incredibly sensitive person, which is probably not the kind of person that is made for HR. So I would get really, really stressed at work, and painting these babies kind of often saved me in a way, just to be able to do something that I really loved, that was really calming. So yeah, I completely understand, after a hard day at work, being able to come home and just put a podcast on and paint some babies is just the best thing. I think everyone should have an artistic outlet, personally. Yeah, everyone needs some kind of, I think it's like a very human thing to make art. So we all need some kind of outlet in order to connect, and just, especially in like this digital age where everyone's so attached to their phone, myself included, it's really important to have a way to just disconnect and, yeah, be present and in the moment. She says doing a live stream while painting. I feel like that's ironic. So Babeside is a, I'm gonna say it's a scam website. The dolls that are pictured are usually not the dolls that you receive. You receive really poor quality ones, and they're all knockoffs, unfortunately. So they're all stolen sculpts. So I absolutely do not recommend Babeside. They're actually selling illegal copies because the copyright has been infringed upon, because they take the sculpts without the sculptor's permission. So yeah, don't recommend Babeside or Amazon or Temu or AliExpress, any of that for reborns. If you want a reborn, go to an artist, and then you'll be able to find something lovely, and you'll actually get what's pictured. I see so many like posts of people being like, oh, you know, this is what I ordered versus what I got, and the pictures that these sites often use are pictures of like the prototype dolls, and prototype reborns will set you back often a couple of £1,000. And so they'll use these pictures and then they'll send a factory made recreation, which is always going to look rubbish in comparison to a, you know, handmade £2,000 doll. So yeah, just be careful when buying reborns online. Basically, do your research before you buy from anyone, because artists can scam as well. As in, people can like pretend to be artists. I always have people pretending to be me. In fact, I did a video not long ago where I explained like how I dealt with a scammer that was pretending to be me, and had to get the police involved because she started threatening me because I got her page taken down because she was reusing, like using all my content, stealing it. So don't think I'm doing a very good job at following the book. We will see how this turns out. I am unsure how good this is going to end up, but we keep going. I'm so warm. Oh, I bought a coffee ages ago from Lidl because, you know, we're trying to save money here. It's a 55p coffee. It's my treat to myself after the gym. It probably negates everything I did at the gym, but anyway. I go to a women's only gym, which is so lovely, because like it's just full of mostly women who are like in their 60s. Like my mum goes to this gym, my aunt goes to this gym. It's just a really nice place. Like everyone is basically just old and trying to keep fit, and it's just such a lovely community. And then there's me, comes in. You're 9 and you have the Sam kit so far. Oh, the Sam kit is one of my favorites. I have 2 Sams in my collection. because it's my all-time favorite sculpt actually. So it's a really, really lovely sculpt. Yeah, I've got 2 Sam babies and I've painted one. In fact, the Sam that I have is the oldest in my collection. He's been with me for around 5 years now. So I do love him. And I got him for a bargain price. I'm all about the bargains. You've seen my silicone doll. Yes, she is lovely. She was very expensive, but I'm going to bore you guys by talking about bargains. She was a bargain because she had issues with her, with the sculpt. Basically, an artist had started her and then hadn't finished, and didn't like how she was turning out. So then, like, tried to take the paint off, and like the paint didn't really come off. Basically, she was just a bit of a mess, and so it was a complete gamble when I bought her. I knew like there was a chance I was going to lose all of the money that I was putting into buying her because she might not have been salvageable. But luckily for me, she was. And so I've got a baby that, like most people that have bought this sculpt, you know, they've spent £6,000 on it, and I spent half of that, so I feel very happy. She's not perfect, like she still has those imperfections, but yeah, she is lovely. And it was my Discord community that like forced me to buy her. I say forced, strongly encouraged. So yes, agree. Please don't mention your age online, just in case there are strange people that would want to take advantage of the fact that you're very young. I'm really fortunate that I grew up without very much internet, honestly. I dread to think what I would have done if I'd had access to the internet when I was very young. As it is, I think I was kind of a teenager by the time the internet really took off and was like a commonplace thing. Why do I feel like I'm not doing a great job at this? It'll all come together in the end. It just looks weird at the moment. I'm not sure I like what I'm doing. You have a bargain, Reborn. You found exactly what you wanted secondhand. Yes, I think secondhand Reborns are a great way to go. A lot of my dolls, in fact most of them, I think are actually secondhand. I think it can be a little hit or miss sometimes getting like custom orders and things done by artists, because you often have a vision in your head, and if the artist can't achieve that, then it's like kind of difficult, because everyone's then left unhappy. Yeah, we're doing a very newborn. This is like just been born baby. Oh, you've never been able to catch one of my lives. It's so rare that I do a live stream, honestly. As I said earlier, they're like really impromptu. My live streams, it's very much like, what am I doing? Oh, I'll just do a live as a random thing. But I thought while I was hair painting, I don't know why my cheeks are heating up so much. You can see how red they are. They randomly go like really red sometimes in like the afternoon, evening. I think my granddad's were the same, so probably just taking after him. And I've done like half of the head now. I've done like a third of the head now this time. Do I ever get them off Vinted? I haven't personally, just because I tend to mainly buy directly from artists now if I'm gonna get one, or like in person. So like the doll shows are really great for that because you get to see the baby before you like commit to buying it. And I think with vintage sometimes I know people sell like knockoffs on there, so I guess I would want like references basically from someone, or to already know the person. Yeah. I don't know whether I like how this is going, but it's only the first layer and it often gets better, and you can add a lot of depth with more layers. You have a Liam kit. Oh, that's cute. What's my favorite size of Reborn? So my favorite size is probably like the 3 to 6 month size, and there are just not very many 3 to 6 month size kits. The Una that's just come out is around a 3-month size, and Pickle is one of those sizes. He's around a 6-month size, so that's why I've got 2 Pickles in my collection. And I used to have a Brooklyn 8 months, which is the same size as Pickle, and she's like a 6-month one, and she was lovely because again, like, just a really nice size to hold. But for like painting them, I think I like newborn size best to paint. I do like the bigger sizes, but there's just not enough of them. Like, there's not enough sculpts that are that big. I don't love painting like preemie ones just because they're really fiddly. The smaller they get, the more fiddly they get. I saw one at the doll show yesterday, like a blank kit that was an 8-inch kit, so it would have ended up like this, about this big, which I was really tempted to get, but it was still like quite expensive, and I knew that when I was painting it I would probably just get annoyed by it because it's so small. Although like all of my nubbin babies are very small, and the Ann Geddes ones are also, they're like 9 inches, but you only have to paint the head and the hands. It's all the limbs that I hate painting limbs, honestly. There are some artists that just paint hair, like paint heads, and they just make cuddle babies. And part of me would love, like, I would love to be able to do that. I wish there were more kits you could buy as just a head, because I can't bring myself to like buy a whole kit and then throw away the limbs or not use the limbs. So yeah. Can I see one of your Reborn dolls? I'm not showing them at the moment just because I'm in the middle of painting, and that's very inconvenient for me to get one out at the moment. I also don't want to risk paint on them because that would be a pain, especially with air dry. Air dry is really hard to get off once you've got it on something. I don't know if I like what I've just done on this head, but it's only layer 1. I have to keep reminding myself. It will get better as we go along. Is anyone watching Bridgerton? Like, has anyone watched Bridgerton, by the way? Because obsessed. You love painting hands and feet, they're your thing. Oh yeah, no, just limbs just annoy me. Here are Christopher's limbs. So they are done. I have painted them. Did I like painting them? No. I love painting nails, I will say. Nails are really fun to paint. But anything else, ugh, yeah, to do with limbs, no. Heads, I could paint heads all day. I bought a couple of heads in the McPherson sale and I really regret not buying more because they were like $10 each, which is an absolute bargain. And I only bought 2 and I should have bought like 10, honestly. And now they've gone up in price again. And you know when like you see something on sale and so you then don't want to pay full price because you know that it could be cheaper? That's how I'm like with this. So I'm not buying any more, but I regret not buying them when they were cheap because that was great. And that's where I got Magnolia. If you see the Magnolia that I did recently, I got her in the sale, her head in the sale. So yeah, should have bought like 10 of those because everyone loved that doll. Hi Cheryl. How do you make silk squares? So I get my silk squares off Amazon. So if you look up men's silk pocket squares, you can get like those and use them as silk squares behind to use like behind the head to protect the hair. So, and you can get them in like packs of 10. So that's what I do because I've got a lot of dolls. So I get them in packs. Yeah, they're really good and less expensive that way. I think with reborning, because it's like not a common, like having reborns it's not like having Barbies or having Lego. So a lot of the accessories and things that we want or that we use, we either have to make them ourselves or we have to repurpose something that's intended for something else, like using men's pocket squares to protect the hair on our dolls. There's a few people that make the silk squares or silk bonnets, but it's not super common. And also because like reborning as a thing has only been around for around 30 years. So it hasn't really been going that long enough to be like super well established as like an industry that a lot of people know about. But people are like getting more into it, I think, with social media. What color hair am I giving him? So he is going to end up with quite dark hair. So I'm using Christine Woolley's hair painting book, and I'm hoping that by the end he ends up with hair that's like similar to this is what I want the hair to look like at the end. So we will see if it will. I'm only on like the first stage at the moment. Yeah, so we will see. Is that Christopher? Yes. So this is a Christopher that I'm making. He's got quite a newborn skin tone, so he's quite red. Where do I get my sculpts? So there are lots of different stockists where you can get them. I'm in the UK, so I tend to use UK stockists where I can. Sometimes I can't, and then if I'm getting them from America, I usually get them from McPherson Arts because they usually just have the most amount of sculpts, and they often have sales and things, so that can be helpful. When I was first starting reborning, I got a lot from Bountiful Baby. So Bountiful Baby make less expensive kits. So because it's not a sculpt, it's like a scan of a real baby. They are cheaper to produce, but the vinyl is much harder to paint. Like, it often like completely repels the paint, which can be a real pain. I remember the first few dolls I painted were all Bountiful Baby kits, and then the first time I painted an actual artist kit, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so much easier, because it took the paint much better. But they are really good, like if you're just starting out and you don't have much money to spend on kits, then especially when they have a sale on. Oh, you know me, I'm all about the sales. I think that's most of what I've talked about. You love my channel, you watch my unboxing videos as well. Oh, I love doing an unboxing video, but it's so rare now that I buy reborns for myself, just because they are expensive, and I can't afford to buy new dolls all the time, unfortunately, because this is my job now. And when I used to work in HR, I was earning good money, and so I bought new dolls regularly. But now that I'm doing this, can't afford to do that. Yeah. Have I seen the video of a real baby seeing me take apart one of my dolls? Yes, I think I have seen that. I've seen a few reaction videos. So it's one video I made went super viral. It got like 30 million views, and there were loads of reactions that people did, like showing their kids, and they were quite funny. But yeah. Can I make you a free doll? No. What guidebook would you recommend to a beginner? I don't know how many guidebooks are out there, to be honest, for like full painting. I know that obviously Christine has these hair painting guidebooks, which are brilliant, and I think are really useful, and they're expensive, but they're worth the money in my opinion. I haven't really seen a huge amount of guidebooks otherwise. I'm, I guess, more of like a learner that needs to see things. So I went to like an in-person course recently, which was helpful. And then there's a lot of YouTube videos you can get now, loads of like free YouTube videos as well, including mine. I'm not sure how to seal the paint. You've got the waterborne matte varnish. Yeah, so with waterborne matte varnish, you shouldn't dilute it. I think you just use it straight onto the kit, and that can act as a sealer as well. So yeah, you can just put that straight over the paint. Give the paint like a week or so to cure. So you want to, yeah, give it time to like properly cure before you add varnish on top. But you can just add that on top. Have I ever repainted a fashion doll? Not a fashion doll, no. So I've done like Anne Geddes babies. I've repainted those, and like a few other like baby type dolls, but not like a fashion one. I love watching videos of other people do it though, because that's really fun. And yes, I do think a lot of the skills are transferable. And also, like, I take some of their techniques sometimes. Like, I've seen them use particular products, and I'm like, oh, I could use that in my reborning. So I like watching them. For air dry, using the red, yellow, blue, what primer do I use before starting? So it depends what paint you're using. If you're using Ultimate Fusion paint, Ultimate Fusion comes with a sealer, and you can use that as a primer, and that just helps it adhere to the vinyl better. But there are some paints, I think Waterborne is one of them, that are basically formulated to go directly onto the vinyl without any kind of primer. So yeah, but you can use the Ultimate Fusion sealer as a primer for under other air dry paints as well. Oh, Sophia, thank you for popping in. It was lovely meeting you, sort of seeing you yesterday, yeah. And thank you again for the bracelets. For those of you that haven't seen my haul video, Sophia made me and my husband little bracelets. They're so cute. Sorry, my husband's making noise next door. I've got them hung up on my wall because I'm just really, it's just really nice when someone like gives you a gift that they've made. So they are hung up on my wall so I can see them. But yes, Sophia gave them to me yesterday at the doll show. My videos inspired you to start painting. You're thinking about doing fantasy ones. That's really cool. I would like to do some fantasy babies. I will let you in on, not a secret, but some information. I have quite a few fantasy kits in my kit stash that I'm actually planning on painting for myself. Basically, it's like mostly elf kits. I've got quite a few elf kits. I've got, I think she's called like Prim, something like that. And she is an elf mother, and she's quite tall, and she has like a pregnant belly. And then she also comes with a baby that's like this big, and her arms are kind of held like this, so she can either like hold her belly or the baby. Oh, it's like the cutest thing. And I bought one for myself so that like I could make her for myself at some point. So one day when I feel like I'm good enough, at the moment I don't feel like I'm good enough to paint for my own collection. Yeah. You watched my video about removing paint on a Reborn. Can it be removed from a Reborn already put together? And can a silicone gloss be removed from lips? I've not seen a silicone gloss on a vinyl baby, so I don't know about that. You can remove paint off a Reborn that's already been put together, but I would suggest taking it apart if you want to take the paint off, because if you're going to repaint it, you're going to need to take it apart anyway. But Reborns are very easy to disassemble. You just need to cut all the zip ties and then take them apart. So yes, can do that. Yeah. You'd like to own a deer fantasy baby. That's cool. Yeah, I've seen, what's it called? Fauna. Fauna is the name of the deer sculpt that exists. I've only seen one deer sculpt, I think. I can hear my husband doing something in the kitchen, and I don't know what he's doing. He might be filming. My husband has a YouTube channel because he's a pastry chef, so he makes videos, and a lot of them, because he's half Malaysian Chinese, a lot of them have like Asian influences, his videos, which is really cool. I can hear him moving again. Maybe his ears are burning now I'm talking about him. Is it going to be a full body? No, so this one has a head and limbs, and then the body itself is cloth. But I have just bought at the doll show a load of belly plates. So after this baby, basically the next few that I make, I think will have belly plates that will come with them, because belly plates are just a joy to paint. Like if I could just be a belly plate artist, oh yes, sign me up. I think I like painting them even more than faces, honestly. I don't know why, they're just really satisfying to me to paint belly plates. You're not an artist, you craft, but painting isn't your forte. See, I've always been a crafter, not an artist. It was only when I came across Reborns and I'd been collecting them for a few years, and then I started painting them. And if you look at my early dolls that I made, you would not call me an artist then, because they were very bad, very, very bad. Belly plates are so adorable. Do you add birthmarks and freckles? I have done. So I've got a baby that's for sale at the moment on my website, and I gave him some freckles, and I think they look adorable on him. So yes, and I have a very specific birthmark. Now this is a bit of a secret because no one really knows this. I have a birthmark on like my inner thigh. It's about this big, and when I started, like when I first started painting, I did think like, should I give all of my dolls my birthmark? And then I thought most people probably wouldn't like that, so I didn't end up doing it. But it was a thought I had, because I was like, this would make it so obvious that they are my dolls, because they all have this birthmark, but not everyone loves a birthmark. So, however, I do have a Sebastian sculpt that I'm going to be painting to look like me as a baby, and that one will get my birthmark because it's going to be me, and that will be a gift to my mum at some point, but she doesn't know that, and I hope she's not watching this live stream. No, she's not, because she's now at the gym, so she won't be watching this live stream. Yes. Would be a cute art signature. Yes, I do think some artists do like signature things like that. Like they'll do like a little heart-shaped freckle or something, which I think is sweet. But I've made so many dolls without like a signature that I feel like it's kind of too late to start now. And I'd probably forget, to be honest, as well. Like sometimes I've signed the cloth bodies, and I always think that's a nice thing when artists sign the cloth bodies, and I've done it maybe 3 times because I forget. Always forget. Oh. See, these first layers just take hours to do. So I'm doing this in like the lightest brown colour. So at the moment, like it barely looks like anything, but it will end up like nearly black. Would I ever try painting a silicone? Yes. So I'm hoping later this year, hopefully, to learn how to paint silicone. And I actually already have a silicone to paint, because my friend Ella gave me, Ella, who was at the show yesterday, she was one of the artists selling, she's given me one of her miniature silicones in a blank one, so that I can paint it at some point, which was very nice of her. And I'll do her silicone painting course. But I kind of need more space to do that. Another question, can the eyes be changed on a completed reborn? It depends whether the artist has glued the eyes in. So you would probably need to ask the artist whether they've glued the eyes in. If you don't know who the artist is, you can just see whether the eyes are glued in. So if you take the head off and see whether the eyes would come out, yeah, that would be the way to do it, really. I made Magnolia recently, and I had to glue her eyes in because I cut off too much of the back of the eye flaps. But a lot of artists manage to make reborns and don't glue the eyes in. So the answer is sometimes. You bought a Reborn yesterday, but it has a voice book and you don't like it. What's the best way to take it out as there isn't like a zip tie in the back? Like a voice box inside. So there will be a zip tie that attaches the neck. So if you look at the back of the neck, you might have to kind of fiddle around a bit, but you should be able to kind of open it. And there will be a zip tie in there that you'll have to cut, and then once you pop the head off you can take it out, but then you'll need to like replace it with some stuffing and then get a new zip tie in order to get the head back together. So it can definitely be done, and if you like bring it to another doll show, you can get artists that would like happily help you out with that as well, because it's not the easiest thing always taking their heads off and stuff. And I know it's like really intimidating, because when the first time I had to take a head off a Reborn, it was actually my Sam, one of my first dolls, and the weighting was really badly done in him, and so I literally spent a couple of months procrastinating taking his head off because I was so scared that I was going to mess him up. But I did it in the end, and it was scary, but it was surprisingly simple once I had done it once. You do know the artist, she said the eyes are glued in. Yeah, unfortunately, if the eyes are glued in, it's probably not going to be able to remove them. Yeah, eyes can like make or break a Reborn, honestly. I'm so particular with eyes, and I bought a couple yesterday that I think are nice, but it's really hard to get them in the UK nowadays, because we used to have quite a good stockist that has closed down, which is a shame. And yeah, there just aren't many people that do them, and I've seen a lot of people starting to do resin eyes, but the issue with resin is that over time resin yellows. So I'm a little concerned that people that have used resin eyes in their dolls, like they might look great for a while, but I don't know how good they're going to look like 5 years, 10 years down the line. And these are, you know, these are art dolls. They should be able to hold their color and their appearance, and if they're well taken care of, they should look the same no matter how many years have gone by, which again is another reason why it's not necessarily that great to use eyeshadow on the dolls, because we don't know how color fast those eyeshadows are going to be. And was why I was playing around with pan pastels to try and achieve the same result. I've gone off on a tangent, sorry. Have I ever been scammed buying a doll? I haven't. I haven't really. So I am really careful when I buy dolls to do my research on them. The first ever doll I got, I bought from a seller off Etsy, and I'm not going to say I was scammed, because I did receive a doll that was the correct sculpt, that was painted by the artist. However, that artist does paint knockoffs, and I was fortunate that the one that I got, there weren't any knockoff versions available, so I knew it was legitimate, at least, even though at the time like I didn't know anything about that. But the thing is, I custom ordered this doll, and I asked for the doll to have dark hair because I was born with dark brown, like nearly black hair. So I wanted really dark hair on her, and I wanted it rooted. So I paid extra for it to be rooted. And then she sent me pictures of it. And bear in mind, this was my first ever doll that I had bought. And she had rooted her in like strawberry blonde hair. And she was like, oh, I thought this one went, like this color went with the skin tone so much better. So she had just done it. She hadn't even like asked me. She had just gone ahead and rooted it with this ginger hair basically. And I had asked for dark hair. So it was a custom order. And at the time, like, I didn't know that that was, I guess, not okay. And I just accepted it, and I just desperately wanted this reborn. So I accepted it, and she arrived, and I did really like her. But it wasn't what I wanted really in a doll. So I then ended up starting to like buy more reborns because I was trying to get what I wanted. And I haven't really done custom orders since. I don't know, I'm looking at my collection. I've done a couple of other customs. Yeah, I have bought a couple of other customs. But yeah, that really kind of sucked as like a first experience, that she basically didn't make the doll that I had ordered. So I wouldn't say I was scammed, but that was not a nice thing for an artist to do. And yeah, it felt rude that she just like ignored what I wanted, and she didn't do a huge amount of rooting. So my theory is that she basically only had that hair color available and didn't have the color that I wanted. And rather than spend the money on buying hair, she just bought. She just used the hair that she had, and I guess hoped I wouldn't notice. I mean, you know, she sells knockoffs, so she doesn't have morals anyway. But yeah, that was just not very nice as a first experience. But I was so desperate to have her that I didn't say anything, and I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I don't have that doll anymore. And I'm glad I don't have that doll anymore, because I was never super attached to her because she wasn't right, in my opinion, because she didn't have dark hair. She was supposed to have dark hair. Yeah. What's the point of selling customs if they're not customs? Yes. I would understand if it was like a private order. So some artists do private orders rather than customs, or they'll say like, I'll do a loose custom, but it'll be in my style. You can choose maybe like the hair color or something, or some just do private orders where it's like you choose the sculpt, but everything else will be chosen by the artist. And I completely get that. Like, I have made a couple of custom orders in my life in the last few years as a reborn artist, and I don't think I would ever do it again unless it was like a very special sculpt, or like a very special person. But this custom orders are so stressful because I mess up on dolls all the time. Like, you guys don't always see it, but I mess up on dolls. And like earlier in this live I was saying, the reason that this Christopher has this skin tone is because I messed up, and so I had to change my plans for the skin tone. Had this been a custom order that they had said, I want this particular skin tone, I would have had to buy a whole new kit because I couldn't fix my mistake. So yeah, you did a custom for a friend. It came out looking like Chucky and you had to remake it. Yeah, so I'm talking about like custom dolls altogether. I have so much respect for artists that do customs for people, but more and more artists I'm seeing nowadays are closing their customs, because it's just so stressful. And often, someone has an idea in their head of how they want a reborn, and if it doesn't come out exactly as they had pictured, then they're disappointed. And I've seen people refuse to pay an artist because it hasn't come out exactly as they wanted, or yeah, if an artist messes up, then it's a really expensive mistake for the artist to make, on a custom. And I get asked every single day, multiple times a day, I get messages asking, do I make customs? Which is why I think in most of my bios I say like no custom orders. um is that someone, like, someone's literally called I Love Reborn Jess? Is that about me? Because that's really cute. um but yes, yeah, customs is stressful. So I don't make customs. I would consider doing like a private order maybe, but that's the most it would be. So one of the first times I ever did a custom, it was someone in America, and they asked me to paint a sculpt that was a really lovely sculpt, but they then sent me loads of pictures of exactly how they wanted it painted, and it was like in someone else's style. So I then had to like try and emulate how this other person had painted, which at the time I didn't realize that's actually like really disrespectful to me as an artist, that it's like, paint this for me but in someone else's style, and I want you to like emulate it exactly. And because I was like new to painting, I did not charge very much for this doll. Like I literally charged £100 to paint it, and the kit was like £100, and then it was like postage. So I know that they've sold that doll subsequently for like double what I charged for it, because the doll came out really nice. But yeah, that was one of my only custom experiences. So as an artist, it's like, it also takes out all the fun for me. Like having to paint a specific sculpt, like, it's just not fun for me. And I think I need to take this further down. I've only painted like down to here. I think I need to take it further down. Have you ever done a doll for a movie or show? Your mum's friend buys dolls for movies and props for movies. Oh, please like give her my info, because I would love to do a doll for a show or a movie. Most of the time I think they prefer silicone. So I know Ella does a lot of dolls for movies, and because I do vinyl, like, they, yeah, don't. But I would love to do that. That would like be a dream. How much are most of my dolls? You've been looking for more cheaper but more realistic silicone dolls. Okay, so this is a vinyl, not a silicone. I don't paint silicone because silicones are very expensive, and that is for a number of reasons. So silicone dolls are made out of silicone, which is a much more expensive material to work with than vinyl, which is what I'm working with now. Silicones are also generally produced by individual artists that are sculptors. So, and you'd get a sculptor that sculpts a silicone, they would then cast it or get someone else to cast it. And silicones take a lot longer to obviously cast, and then each silicone mold can only be used a certain amount of times before the mold breaks. So a lot of silicones are only produced in editions of like 10 or 20 or so, because after that the mold just breaks down. And so as the artist can only produce like 10 of it, it's going to then have to be very expensive to justify them having sculpted this baby. So that's one of the reasons why silicones are so expensive. Like, obviously, if they could very quickly make 400, then they wouldn't be so expensive. But yeah, so silicone sculpts for like a newborn size silicone sculpt, you're looking at a minimum of £1,000, and that's like blank, really, like without painting. And then please don't recommend Babeside, by the way. Please don't recommend Babeside. Unfortunately, Babeside only produces counterfeit dolls, so they are actually illegal to sell and to own. Well, not to own, but to, like, if you are buying them and selling them on. Unfortunately, they are counterfeits, so they are illegally produced because the sculptors have not given permission, and it infringes on the sculptor's copyright. Most sculptors can't afford to go after these big companies, unfortunately, which is why they're able to get away with it. But it is technically illegal, so no to Babeside. And yeah, so silicones are very, very expensive. Obviously, the bigger you go, the more expensive they are. I had a preemie size silicone called Cookie, if any of you remember Cookie, and she, for the blank kit, she was like £800, I think, and then to get her painted was like another £1,000 on top of that, or just under. I think it was £900 that cost me to get painted by a silicone artist. So as I said, like, silicone is a much harder material to work with, so the artists charge a lot more as well for them. So it's much more difficult apparently to make them. So yeah, silicone a lot more expensive, and it's really expensive to make a mistake, obviously, because you can't strip silicones, which is something I learned recently. You can't actually strip the paint off a silicone, because when you paint a silicone, you paint it with silicone. The paint adheres and like bonds to the silicone that you're painting onto. So you can't take the paint off once it's on, which was the issue that obviously we had with my Emily sculpt that was not going great. So they just had to like kind of paint on top, really. You can't take the paint off once it's on there. So if you make a mistake on silicone, it's a very costly mistake. You love Cookie, she's so darling. Yes, she was so sweet, but again, in order to afford a new silicone, I did have to sell Cookie, and that's just me having to be realistic with my finances. I wished I had unlimited money. You know, there's like people in the world like that are like can go like walk into any shop. I would love this. Okay, I would love to just be able to walk into any shop in the world and not look at price tags and just be like, yeah, I'll have that. Like, what a dream that would be. How amazing to just know that you can buy whatever you want. Oh, one day. One day maybe. Although I think I still wouldn't like buy designer stuff, honestly, because that's just a waste of money. She says, basically making a designer item. Yes, I do need to be able to pay my rent, so I do giveaways sometimes of dolls. I did one quite recently, but the reason I was able to afford to do that particular giveaway was the dolls that I gave away, one of them I had been given for free, so it didn't then really cost me anything to give it away, like. And then the other one, I won the blank kit of it in a giveaway. So in order to pay that kind of fortune forward, I painted the kit, which was obviously then my time, and gave that away. So that only cost me my time. But at the moment, my time, I do need to be paid for, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to pay my rent. And I would like to continue living where I live and having a roof over my head. And at the moment, my husband is not employed because of us just moving, and he hasn't been able to find a new job yet where we have moved to. So yeah, so at the moment I can't afford to give away free stuff, unfortunately. Yeah. So yeah, I get a lot of sob stories. I get a lot of messages from people giving me reasons why they should have a free doll, and yeah. No one needs a doll. Like, you're not gonna die without a reborn. Let's be honest. But I get messages from people being like, I need one, and I'm like, do you? Do you need one? Because they are luxury items. Like, when I was young, my parents would not have been able to afford to buy me one of these dolls. The only reason I have them or am able to have them is because I'm an adult that has my own money, and I have prioritized having a doll over things like going on holiday. So yeah, it just depends on your priorities as an adult. Oh, I think I'm like nearly done with the first layer. So I'm gonna see if you can see this. It's really subtle, some of these strokes. I have started to build up a little bit more on the front, and I'll continue to do that with this colour a bit more. Yeah. So yeah, Reborns are luxury art pieces. They are. A lot of people don't see them as that. I literally had someone commenting on my Facebook the other day saying that they don't think reborn artists are real artists, and I was like, what are we then? Like, that was quite funny. But I think they were just trying to get a rise out of me. So see, this is where the fun starts to come in, because now I've done like a layer. I'm kind of going to go in and like look at bits that I've done and pick out areas that I want to, like, I guess, highlight more. I love doing like the sides, like here, like the little sideburns. You like babies with very little hair? Yes. Because I was born with a full head of hair, I like to make babies that have a full head of hair. But that's just my personal preference. And I think my husband was born with a full head of hair. Dark hair as well. Both of us had dark hair, so I like my dark hair babies. Oh, Aggie, I love your videos. Can you get a shout out? So yeah. Yeah, now we're getting to like more of my favorite part of doing the hair. I'm gonna like start focusing on like little sections and just like perfecting those sections, and then I'll go in with like darker colors as well. But this is just very satisfying, this bit right here that I'm doing. So yeah, it takes quite a long time. And like the first time I painted hair, oh, it was a disaster. I think I've got pictures of it on my website. So on my website, I've got like a gallery where you can see every single reborn that I've ever made. and I've got it done in like chronological order, so you can go back to when I very first started painting a couple of years ago and see what they used to look like, because I've come a long way since then. It takes a lot of time and practice. I mean, some people are just naturally good at this kind of thing. I am not one of those people. I am not a natural born artist. I am someone that has had to like spend a lot of hours working on it. So yeah. You don't paint reborns, but you love drawing and colouring hair. Yes. Hair is just really, can be really satisfying to do. I love seeing people do hair. And everyone that paints hair like has a different style. I think it's really fun that sometimes I can tell an artist just from the hair that they have painted. So like there are particular artists I follow that, yeah, when I see their work, I'm like, oh, I know that's like a Christine doll because I recognize the style that they do their hair painting in. And that's always really cool. I'm just kind of adding another layer. It's in like the same color because the paint's thickened up, so it's a bit thicker. And I think I'm just going to block this Amy person because they're being very rude and they're a child and they're just, oh look, I can put her in timeout. Here we go. I didn't know you can do that. You can put people in timeout. Wow. Yes, I used to draw mazes in high school for fun. You were looking at a painting hair baby of yours for sale, and I thought to myself, it reminds me of the mazes you used to draw. Yes, they are. My cheeks are so rosy. Oh, I know. I go really red during things like live streams, and that's just what's happened today. My granddad was the same. Like, we have rosacea. Let's make a baby together. It's been uncomfortable to get those types of notifications or see that content. So you wanted to ask what's behind that. Oh, I'm sorry. So the reason that I will say something like that is because that is what's called a content hook. So when you make short form content, you have about 1.5 seconds to catch someone's attention before they scroll. So the reason that I will say something like that is basically to get people to stop scrolling. And if you look at my videos, you will see that the ones that perform best, the ones that get hundreds of thousands or millions of views, are the ones where I've said something like, let's make a baby, or I'm going to show you how to make a baby, or make a baby with me, or I make fake babies, or something like that. It's a quick thing that you can say that will get people to stop scrolling and like interact with your content, and then they'll be like, oh, you know, I thought this was going somewhere else, or I think this was different. So I use that kind of thing in order to get views on my videos, because that's how I get paid, that's how I make money, that's how I pay my rent and make a living. So what I would suggest is, if you don't like seeing that kind of content, those kind of hooks, I'm probably not the person to follow, because I make that kind of content. You know, there's other Reborn artists that I don't follow because I don't like the kind of content that they make. It's completely fine if you don't want to follow me because you don't like that kind of thing. No issue if I lose a follower, that's fine. But for me, like, it's worth it to have those kind of hooks to make that kind of money that I do. I don't make huge amounts of money, but like, to get a video that gets like 500,000 views, I might earn 100, 200 pounds off that. So that enables me to pay my rent. And I'm sorry if people don't like it, they don't have to follow me. What's the most expensive kit you've ever painted? the rarest. So probably Pickle, because Pickle, there was one yesterday, a blank one at the show that was £500. Someone was selling the blank kit for, and I have made 2 Pickles, and I have 2 more in my kit stash. So that would be the most expensive I've painted at the moment. What do I use to film my videos? Just my phone. I just use my phone, and I have a microphone now. So this is the Rode mini like micro set. So this one plugs into the bottom of my phone, and then I've got 2 microphones in here that I just stick to my clothes, and that just makes my voice sound better. I don't have it on at the moment because I've got my phone plugged into the power port basically. So yeah, I just use my phone. This is the front camera, so it's not like great quality. The back camera is obviously better, but in order to see the comments, I needed to use the front camera. So that is what we have done today. I do try and use my back camera where I can, and I've got this other thing which is called a small rig, and this basically can stick onto the back of my phone, and it emulates my screen so that I can see myself when I'm filming with my back camera. So that is what I use, but I've only started using those things recently because they are quite expensive. In fact, I think my husband bought that small rig for me. Before then I was only using my front camera. And I don't use any special settings in my phone. I just use regular, and I don't really edit a huge amount either when I've done, like, I don't tend to do much like color correction or anything. I edit on my phone. I film on my phone, I edit on my phone. So yeah, it's just, everything is just done with my phone, which is a Samsung phone. It's quite a recent one. It's like the S24. And then yeah, I edit with InShot is what it's called. It's just a very like simple editing software. So you never see like particularly flashy edits from me because I'm literally just using a software on my phone, and I'm just filming with my phone. So it's never like super professional, but I have tried editing like on a laptop and things before, and it's, I don't enjoy editing anyway, and it just makes it take a lot longer. So just the phone for me is how I do it until I can afford to like get an editor, and then it'll be fancy, but I can't at the moment. So I'm just reading some of these comments. How do I determine the length of the hair strokes? So Christine's book is quite helpful for that. So like, or like she kind of shows you like the length of the strokes, so they're all like this long or so. Sometimes like if I do like lots of I do little strokes like at the front, for example, but yeah, she does quite a few long ones and then goes in with like shorter ones. So I don't know, just paint with your heart. It's nice to meet you. Oh, you're scared to do this. So you should just, give it a go. You can get like starter kits now, which have like all of the paints and everything that you would need to make like one doll. So that's how I started. I literally just bought a starter kit that had everything I needed. And I will say, go into it expecting to mess up, because I messed up so much. Like my first few ones were just terrible. So yeah, you'd like to try to paint one, but on a really, really low budget. So if you've got a really low budget, the best things to get to start painting a reborn, I would suggest, so doll shows are a good place to buy some inexpensive kits. So when I was at the show yesterday, there was a big bin which had like 3 for £10 on like faulty vinyl, so I got like a bunch of heads in there that you can't, like, they're not perfect, so they were really cheap. So I would suggest like trying to find some inexpensive kits like that, or sometimes people sell kits secondhand. You can pick them up cheaply or in a sale. Bountiful Baby often has sales and makes a few of their kits really cheap. And then there is a paint set called Waterborne paints, and I used to use them. I now use Ultimate Fusion because the person who makes Ultimate Fusion very kindly sent me like their entire paint set. So I use these just because I've got all of the colours. But if you get waterborne ones, you can get the primary colours, so red, blue and yellow, quite inexpensively in like a trial size, and it's something like £10 for the red, yellow and blue. And technically those are the only three colours you need to make a reborn. I have made multiple dolls with only those three colours, because you can mix them to create all of the other colours. And then you just need basically like a varnish, which again you can pick up quite inexpensively. The one I use I think is about £15, but I think you can get more inexpensive ones than that. And then just some brushes really. And again, a lot of brushes you can pick up quite inexpensively if you only have like one of each. Yeah, so you could probably do it if you're like really creative. You could probably do it for like less than £50. But generally, like, if you're starting out, you're probably going to spend a couple of £100 to start with. At least that's what I did when I first started, because you can get the full starter kits. They tend to be about £150, and that has absolutely everything you need. But yeah, I hope that's helpful in some way. And yes, I'm working on Christopher at the moment. He's really cute. He's a really cute sculpt. I've been doing this for nearly 2 hours. I will probably stop soon because even I get bored of the sound of my own voice. And it's 6:30, and I did promise my husband we were going to do a stir fry for dinner, so I will go and do that with him. I think we're doing a chicken stir fry. No one is interested in what you're having for dinner, Jess. Yeah. Yeah, I hope everyone has a nice evening. I have no idea what I'm going to do with my evening. I might end up painting some more. I'm trying to like, I'm not sure I like what I've done with the hair, but we'll see. You love stir fry. Stir fries are good. They're just a really good like basic. You can make them with any ingredients. We've got udon noodles for tonight, and bean sprouts, and then some veg and some chicken. And a lot of supermarkets now sell like kits where you literally get everything you need to make a stir fry, and it's like a really simple way. Stir fries all the way. It's a great like date food, I think, if you need to make something that's really easy but will always taste good. Yes. When I'm painting hair, I do end up spending the most of the time like on this part because that's kind of what you see the most. This is how we get to know the artist and see them as a real person. Yes. Are there any reborn artists who make babies with genetic deformities? Yes. So there is a sculptor, and she is called like Chenza Dolls. If you look up Chenza Dolls, most of her sculpts have deformities. So I've got one of her sculpts, which is like a two-headed one, and so so she has made lots of ones. So she's made several that have Down syndrome. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I know she's done a few, like she makes them basically as like a to show that like these, you know, represent people with various different disabilities and show that they can like still be cute and loved and appreciated, and like the beauty in that. So yeah, if you look her up, so lots of artists will like paint those dolls. I think they're always nice to have as well. But I haven't seen any new ones by her recently. Yeah. Not all artists can go live. You'd like to go live on YouTube. Yeah, it does. I don't know what the minimum requirement is on YouTube for live streams. Actually, it might be like 1,000 subscribers or 500. I'm not sure. What's my favorite color? It's a tie between blue and pink. When I was younger, I always used to say it was blue, but then like my room was pink. Like if I have the choice of a color in which to buy something, it's gonna be pink. Like if I look around at my room, half the stuff I have is in pink. It's just, yeah, if I have a choice of colors, it will always be pink. So therefore, probably pink. I just love something in pink. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go make the stir fry soon, otherwise my husband will be sad. It'd be fun if he like came on my live stream or like popped in the comments. That would be cute. Oh, see. Oh, for a second there. See, I had a little bit of paint on my finger and it transferred onto the head where I didn't want it. And because it's air dry, you have to get it off immediately. Otherwise it sets on there. So that was a little panic. You want to make sure the hands are clean. Yeah, this paint is getting a little too thick now because it's kind of been out for a bit and drying. So you'll always buy something in yellow if given the option. Yellow is a good color because yellow is like a happy color, so it's a very nice color. But also you've got to think about the shades, because like some pink shades are kind of rubbish as well, and with yellow I like to have something that's like a sunshine yellow, and then if I have green, it needs to be like a sage green. So, and then men will come along and be like, it's green, there's no difference. But yeah, there is a difference. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this live stream. I've basically done one layer, so it's taken me 2 hours. I have been talking a lot, so it would have been a bit faster had I not been talking, but it's taken me 2 hours to do one layer of paint, and I will do around 5 layers. However, they will get faster as I do more of the layers, so it does take me around 8 hours, I think, altogether to do a full newborn size head. I'm just trying to wash this brush off a bit. Yeah. You have one of my reborns. I love that. I love when like people show me their dolls that I have made. Like it's so special to me to see that my creations are being loved. Honestly, it makes me really, really happy. Yeah. You've really enjoyed my live stream. Thank you so much, Laura. I am glad to have you here. This has been fun. I always say like, oh, I'll do more of these, and I probably won't now do a live stream for another 3 months. But yeah. I do sell my Boo Boo Reborns for cheap sometimes, but I no longer give away those ones for free just because I can't afford to. But it would be nice, and if someone was to give me like £700, then yeah, I would make some Reborn, a Reborn for free. But yeah, I hope you guys have an amazing evening, and I am going to go and make this stir fry now. So I'll say goodbye.